Hello, goblins. It's Chris, Eldritch Pipes. It's this week's pipes. Now, I've got 3 to show you. 2 are available, and 1 has gone. In fact, it's so gone that I'm going to show you it by putting some pictures on screen because I no longer have it with me, which is a bit of a shame because it was an interesting pipe. I made it at the request of the owner of a game shop, which is where I go to play Magic. And it's a great shop. It's called the Games Den. It's online. It's in the bottom of Leamington, where I live. And the guy there was going to an event, not hosted by the Games Den. It was just his own thing. It was a charity event. They were doing a charity raffle. The proceeds are going to Mind, which is a charity that my mum used to work for. So I was kind of like instantly drawn to it. I said I would make a pipe for it. And he wanted something that would fit with the latest set in the Magic the Gathering, which is the Return to Kamigawa. So I wanted to make a pipe that sort of fit with that. So I'll say this now. I'll put a picture up here somewhere, I hope, and you should be able to see that it uses my pink Cumberland. I almost wanted to go neon pink because the colours of Kamigawa are kind of like this, what would you call it? Almost like a steampunk Japan with magic, of course. And so it's got these like neon pinks. I didn't have time to cast any neon pink resin, so I used my pink Cumberland, which I don't use very often. And then I just had this idea. I really wanted the top to scoop out a little bit Rhodesian-like, I suppose, but different somehow. And then I sort of like saw the bottom sort of taping away, a bit like an acorn coming down to a point and going off. It was a very light pipe. It was only 27 grams. And then I just did it in a black contrast in a black sandblast, really to put the emphasis on the stem for the colour. And just to leave the shape like a silhouette. So yeah, I didn't even know what to call it. People giving me names like, it looks like a pork pie hat. What was the one that I liked? So like lots of people saw a hat shape in the rim, and so I think someone said boater or something like that. That kind of like led me to gondolier or Venetian. So I kind of like the name, maybe the gondolier or the Venetian, something like that. I don't know. I've only made one. I may never make another, so maybe I don't have to name it. But it was a fun little pipe to make. All right. The other 2 pipes are available, and one of them is the special pipe from last week. We said a shroom. That was what we landed on. At the end of this video, we'll do another poll for next week's special pipe. But here's what I did. This is not the special pipe, although it is specialish. The story to this pipe was it was intended to be a commission. The idea was to do one of my corrupted eggs, which is a shape that I made quite some years ago, and I haven't made since. I seem to make a run of them sort of maybe like 5-6 years ago. and then I moved on. But a customer had had theirs lifted off their person, I think. Anyway, they wanted to replace it, so I said I'd give it a go. The corrupted egg is kind of like a part rusticated thing. But unfortunately on this one, or fortunately, the briar was just really good, and I couldn't bring myself to rusticate. So I just did it as a smooth. So, no more talking about it. A smooth egg. I did this in a chocolate and orange, which is not a combination I use very often. But I wanted a kind of traditional look, but not too dark. There's some quite nice grain on it. Going around the shank. Going around the shank. Me and my words today. Going around the bowl. You can see it sort of flaring up the shank as well. And a black stem, which is very unusual for me. I think I did do a black stem on the volcano because I intended that to have a kind of a classic look. And so that was my choice for this again. So really pleased with this guy. It's got just like a nice, really, it's a handful of a bowl. It's really lovely, if I say so myself. But it is. I'm not sure of the weight of it. I haven't taken its weight. Maybe I should do that now. I wasn't prepared. But I got my scales down here. $57 grams. So maybe a tad over what would be an easy clencher. But not a beast. That's the first fillet. All right, the shroom. Look at that fellow. There's a few unique bits about this guy. Firstly, you will notice that the front lip comes down past where the shank ends. I had this idea in my head for some time that I wanted this part of the pipe to sort of like curl down past the shank, sort of past the stem line, because technically interesting trying to face off a shank past the point where the front of the briar is. It required a little bit of jiggery pokery. So as you can see, it has this extravagant curl down the front of the stem, and in fact the whole thing is kind of flamboyant. A huge, like, wingspan. Wingspan, what's a better name for it? Plateau span? Rim span? Something like that. And then the other part is that I did this in a contrast, black and orange. All my shrooms are green in stain. I wanted to do something a little bit different here. I still wanted my moss green stem. I either do olive Cumberland or the moss Cumberland. And I thought the idea of the contrast, black and red with the moss would be a good fit. Kind of makes this look a bit poisonous, possibly. Then the entire plateau rim, as you can see, is this like sort of like curvaceous S almost. And I did a little smooth rim in the orange, which is not a feature that I commonly put on. I just wanted some of that orange to poke through on the rim. I thought, sort of on the top, and I thought that's the easiest way to do it. I suppose I could have knocked back a bit of the entire plateau so you had spots of orange going all the way across. That was another option that I thought about, but in the end I sort of like let the pattern of the plateau speak for itself and just went for the orange accent on the rim. As all my shrooms do, they feature a part rusticated stem. Tip to tip, this is probably quite long, even though the actual pipe part isn't so long. Let's have a look. Tip to tip is just over 8 inches, but really it's a 6.5 inch pipe. If you're just thinking about the bowl, but that extra flare on the rim gives it a fair bit of extra length. There you go. This week's shroom. This guy is available. If you're interested in either this one or the smooth egg, you can email me at the address that's down below in the description. Just wing me an email, we can have a chat. So, next week, what's next week's special pipe going to be? I'm already making one special pipe. I'm making one from the Poison Garden section of the gallery. I'm not going to tell you which one, I'm just going to surprise you with it next week, as long as I finish it, which I should do. I see no reason why not. But you know, best laid plans and all of that. So, next week's, I'm thinking it could either be, what did someone say before? Was it a Rhodesian? Someone had requested Rhodesian. I don't have all the conversation in front of me. But maybe, I know that someone has requested to see my version of a Bing. I see as being a kind of a version of the reading pipe. So maybe that could be interesting. I haven't done a kind of billiard bowl in a little while. Or it could be something completely other. Let's see what you guys come up with. And I'll make my decision, and then that will be the pipe, special pipe I make for next week. Alright. That's it for now. So, yeah. Take it very easy, guys. I'll see you next week. Till then, your loyal pipe maker.